Hi guys, welcome back. In today's video, we will be talking about two companies. Both are in the hospital space. One is Max Hospital and the other one is Asarfi Hospital. It's quite such a contrast because if you look at Max, I believe Max is trading at like around 1 lakh crore ka market cap, whereas Asarfi is trading at like around around 200 crore ka market cap. So we are going to be talking about one hospital which is like the highest market cap and the one is the lowest market cap ever. It's going to be a very interesting video. Okay, along with that we will also compare with Yatharth जिसका result already आया है. ठीक है. So first let us understand with Max Healthcare Institute कि like how has the numbers been and what does the projection look like for the other 1/4 of the year that is left. Okay, so Max, as you know, they are the kind of hospital who started from this Delhi Gurgaon region and they started expanding into the whole of India, but specifically they are even today they are concentrated much towards the northern part of India. Okay, and over here if you look at it in the year end of 24 in the end of 24, I mean the last year, the bed capacity was around 3,500 to 4,000 in that range, and they told that they will add another 3,500 to 4,000, that is they will double the bed capacity from FY24 by FY28, right? In a span of next 3 to 4 years they are planning to double the bed capacity. So that was the entire target. Okay, now because of this bed capacity that they are doing, right, it is a combination of everything. Like it is a combination of greenfield they're doing, brownfield they're doing, they're also finding acquisition. Let's say if there is another hospital where it is not being used properly, they're just acquiring these small hospitals and apna naam chipka rahe hain. In that way they can expand very aggressively. Okay, so this is what Max is doing. Okay, now if you look at the numbers has been really good. If you look at the top line grew by a whooping 39%. I'm talking about the consolidated, so that grew by a whooping 39%. Okay, but if you look at the bottom line, you see that the PAT that is there, PAT degrew by 17%. Now why is that the PAT degrew by 17%? The one main factor, like PAT would have grown by around 6%, PAT would have grown, but it degrew by 17% is because they had recently acquired this hospital called as JP. Okay, JAYPEE, JP Healthcare, which is in this Noida region. Now what had happened was they earlier they had around 60% of stake. Now they paid 70 crore and bought some more stake from this Yamuna Highway Express, from other party. They did that. So this transaction costed them around 70 crore. Now because of this only you see that the PAT that is there degrew. Varna PAT that is there, if you do not consider this exceptional item, it would have grown by around 6%. Now you might tell me, right, like array PAT only grew by 6%, so it's really not a good deal because the EPS is not growing. But again over here, remember I told you these people are aggressively planning the capacity, right, or doubling the capacity with their hospital. Because if you look at the entire hospital space, right, there is only Yatharth, Max Hospital, Jupiter and Global Health Medica, or Medanta used to call Global Health Medicare. These are the four hospitals whose expansion is at least worthwhile. But with Jupiter and Global Health, that is Medanta, that is there, the expansion is taking much more time, right? Like with Medanta, the bed capacity is 50% addition in bed capacity, but only for 50% addition they're taking around 4 to 5 years. Similarly with Jupiter also, their bed capacity is going to take them around 5 to 6 years. It could also take far more time because Jupiter is planning this entire thing by greenfield, where they're acquiring the land, putting up the hospital and everything. Okay, whereas Yatharth and Max are the only two hospitals who are planning the bed capacity, doubling the bed capacity within a shorter duration of time. Okay, because even if you look at Yatharth, they are planning to double the bed capacity by FY27-28. Similarly with Max, by 28 they are planning to double the bed capacity. But it becomes harder for Max, right, because Max ka bed capacity is around 3,500. It is more than 2 times the bed capacity of what Yatharth was when it got listed. So in spite of it, for them to be able to grow at 40%, that is quite remarkable. Okay, and over here coming back to the same thing, because these people are doing so much expansion, they are doing so much, itna kuch expansion ho raha hai, they are doing this, they're putting up all of this new beds and everything. So depreciation cost is high, your employee cost is going up, your medical expense is going up. That is why you're seeing that operating leverage that is there has been a miss, not just for this quarter but for quite a few quarters also. I mean, I think last quarter they did witness some level of operating leverage, but again it has been a miss. Now you understand why, right? Because when you're putting up a hospital, you have so many expenses, right? That is the reason over here. Okay, but I must say one thing over here, quite a remarkable remarkable performance, like very quiet, because the entire thing, see, when it comes to Max and Yatharth, the game is similar to the jewelry space, like how it was between Titan and Sedco. I will explain this in the valuation part, but overall, great update from Max Healthcare Institute. Even if you look at their hospital, right, recently acquired hospital that was there, I believe in Dwarka, that had started the operation in July of 2024, so hardly 6 to 7 months back, okay, and that is already, that's already break even level mein hai, EBITDA break even level, so it will also add to profitability. Then all of their other capex plans that is there, that is in Thane, there was a plan, there was a capex that is coming up, that also has become, they have gotten approval of that. So that's that about Max. We will cover the valuation part at the end of this video, where we will cover both Max, Yatharth and Asarfi, so all the three hospitals. Okay, now let's come to the second update, that is the Asarfi hospitals. Okay, by the way, I've covered Asarfi hospital in detail last quarter, by showing you the PPT and everything, doing the valuation exercise and all of it. I'm going to link that video down in the description box below, or you can go to my, Q2FY25 ka playlist. You can go over there and check for Asarfi hospital ka analysis. You'll find it over there. Okay. So now coming back to Asarfi hospital, like I told you, like today we're analyzing such hospital, like in the hospital space, one is like a big hospital, like the big daddy of the space, and the other one is like a chotu player, just emerging over here. So it is a big contrast, like the biggest player and the smallest player in the space we're analyzing in one video. So when you talk about Asarfi is a very small hospital. Like I told you now, inka hospital ka size is around 200 crore, okay, and these people are in that Jharkhand area. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Yeah, it is in this Jharkhand ka Dhanbad area that is there. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. That's probably the pronunciation. So it is in Dhanbad area. Inka hospital, the number of beds that this hospital has is only 300 beds. Max ka kitna hai? In FY24 only it is 3,500 bed. Now we're almost 1 year into this FY25 also. So, I can't imagine, I think with all the bed addition that they have, it must be definitely more than that. So it is not even 1/10 of Max. I mean, can you imagine the comparison? Ki like, ek to 4,000 se upar ka bed hai, iska to sirf 300 hi bed hai, right? So just imagine how small this player is. So these people have two hospitals, okay? One is in this, Baramuri region. Again, I know a lot of y'all come and be like, oh, this is not the right pronunciation, but tomato, unless you understand it is okay. So one is in Baramuri region, which is a super specialty hospital, okay, and here they have 250 beds, okay. Then the other one is in Ranguni, Ranguni, Ranguni region, which is a newly established hospital, recently start hua hai, okay, and this has only 50 beds. Now this new hospital that I told you na, in Ranguni area, just 50 beds hai, this is specifically for one thing and one thing only, which is the cancer treatment, okay, that's it. Whereas the first hospital is for super specialty hospital, okay, where different cardiology, neurosurgery, ye sab hota hai, okay. Now over here, the game changer for them was they came and they told in the last quarter ka PPT that they're planning a very massive expansion, okay, because they raised a lot of money in the QIP, and they told ki like, ye jo 50 bed ka cancer ka hospital hai, this we will expand from 50 to 150 in the next 1 year by FY26. So by next year kind we will take it to 150, and इस साल ये 50 में we will reach maximum occupancy, that is 80% का occupancy पूरा हो जाएगा इस 50 bedded का cancer hospital में. Next later year में we will expand from 50 to 150, so 100 bed का addition होगा यहाँ पे. Now since it is a how do I tell you, it is a cancer hospital, right? I mean, so your RPOB is going to be much higher because cancer treatments are way higher compared to normal surgery or any normal treatments that is there. So based out of this, what is going to happen, because of the new beds आपका volume growth आने वाला है, because of this cancer का treatment that you're giving and purely focused on oncology का treatment, as a result आपका value growth भी आने वाला है. So this is a good example for where you're getting volume as well as value. Remember in the workshop that we told that अगर आप growth देखते हो, growth, there are two types of growth. One is volume and the other one is value. When you talk, see, every industry is same only, volume and value, सिर्फ नाम अलग होता है, ठीक है. अगर हम B2C में जाते हैं, हम volume value बोल के चिल्लाते हैं, यहाँ पे हॉस्पिटल में ऑक्यूपेंसी और आरपॉप के हिसाब से बोलते हैं, ठीक है. दैट इज द ओनली डिफरेंस. ऑक्यूपेंसी इज योर वॉल्यूम ग्रोथ, आरपॉप इज योर वैल्यू ग्रोथ, ओके. सो ये उनका प्लान था, एंड दे टोल्ड दैट इन फॉर द नेक्स्ट दिस हाफ ऑफ द ईयर, द H2 of this year and the next 1 year, that is FY25-26, we will we are targeting a growth rate of 30% का CAGR, and similarly PAT margin जो होगा, we are targeting around 11% का PAT margin. So from there you get a PAT का estimate around, right? So that was the entire deal. Now comes Q3 का result, which has been literally exceptional, because if you look at their क्या बोलते हैं total income grew by, if you look at it, grew by 59% on a year on year basis. कितना बोला था करेगा? 30%. कितना किया? 59%. And if you look at their PAT कितना है यहाँ पे? Last time in last Q3 they were a loss making company, so उनका loss था, and this time they are at a profitability of 2.72 crore. Okay, so overall they had immense operating leverage, as well as उनका क्या हुआ, उनका income, even the pace of growth, because even last time if I remember it right, उनका around 40% का growth था, and Yatharth I believe was growing around 25%, इनका 40% growth था Q2 में. Q3 में कितना हुआ? 56%. So connected back to that workshop that we did where we spoke about pace of growth, right? एक गाड़ी जो 40 किलोमीटर पर आवर में चल रहा था, now the speed of that गाड़ी has increased from 40 किलोमीटर an hour to 59 किलोमीटर an hour, right? So it has gone from a 40% का growth engine to 59%. One, the pace of growth has increased, and on top of that it has overperformed on the guidance that it has given also. So overall in terms of the result, result के वाइज से good है, ठीक है. Then let us talk about the other thing, which is your occupancy का rate, right? How has the occupancy and the ARPOB been? Let me just find that data. हाँ, so occupancy जो है, उनका जो volume growth है, it was 56% last time, and this time it is 64%, ठीक है. So occupancy has increased by 8%. अगर आप उनका ARPOB देखोगे, ARPOB has increased by 19%. The main reason for ARPOB increase is because this time we had this 50 beds ना, इनका जो कैंसर हॉस्पिटल का. Out of this, the occupancy rate in this cancer hospital is 80% already. So as a result, now you understand why we have this huge immense both in occupancy, both in ARPOB also. If you look at Max over there, Max ka occupancy has increased from 73 to 75%. Unka ARPOB is almost in the same rate, some 75 to 76,000 in that range only. So not much increase, but overall I don't want to talk about it a lot because it's good result only over there, nothing to complain. But here these people have the better way to put it is the management has not just walked the talk, but they have overdone, whatever they promised, they have delivered much more than that. So overall great, right? And on top of that, बोल रहे हैं इनका जो capex है that will go on as it is. There is no problem in terms of capex. FY26 तक ये कैंसर में 150 beds होगा. And I told they already have one super speciality hospital 250 beds का. They are planning to increase this from 250, add another 100 beds or add another 50 beds, that is depending on the demand, they will do it. Okay, so this is a plan. Now again, see this. If you look at it over here, obviously, now let's talk about the race over here, okay? So earlier, until Q1 of this year, we had Yatharth that was leading the race, okay? Followed by that, it was Max, and then the other, Jupiter, Medanta, everything, all of the other hospitals. In Q2 mein kya hua? In Q2 mein we had Max over leading Yatharth, right? And Max has a way bigger base, let me tell you. Yatharth ka base is hardly 3,000 crore, right? 3,000 ya 4,000 crore ka market cap hai. Max is 1 lakh crore ka market cap. Whereas what are we talking about, right? We are talking about a hospital that is literally more than 2x your size, literally more than 2x your size, right? And in spite of it, they're growing faster than you. So kya hua? Max came at first, Yatharth came at second, right? And then we had this new big boss ka wild card entry, which is Asarfi hospital, which came up with its guidance and everything, right? So in Q2, what we had Asarfi, then we had Max, then we had Yatharth. Yatharth, which was leading at first position, went to second position because of Max, right? Because Max was leading. And then Asarfi, the new big boss wildcard entry came. So then what had happened? Max became second, Yatharth became third, and Asarfi became number 1. So you understand now race ke hisab se kaun is leading the race, okay? Now this is as per of Q3 also it is the same. Because Q3 maybe if you see, Asarfi grew by 56%, Max grew by around 39 to 40%, and then you look at Yatharth grew by 31%, both all on a year-on-year basis. So you understand, on basis of position, on who is leading the race over here. Now the problem with Asarfi comes over here. You see, right? Everything is proper for Asarfi hospital, right? उनका growth rate high है, profitability है, expansion कर रहा है, occupancy rate अच्छा है, volume growth बढ़ रहा है, bed capex कर रहा है, ARPOB अच्छा चल रही है, value growth हो रहा है, मतलब and ROE भी, because ये ROE का 3 पढ़ने होते हैं, right? One is your volume growth, your asset turnover, the other one is your value growth, which is your ARPOB यहाँ पे, and the other one is your financial leverage, ठीक है? यहाँ पे तो दोनों engine चल रहा है, volume and value growth growth का, so obviously your ROE also will improve, and जहाँ पे ROE बढ़ता है वहाँ पे तो पैसा बनता है, right? That is a pure logic over here, right? Connected to again everything that we learned in the workshop, right? We connected every single parameter to sale, right? And I'm telling you guys this, if you haven't bought the workshop right now, it's a big mistake, because that workshop is literally the best thing you'll ever learn on this planet ever. I can vouch on that. I can vouch my name on that for sure, because I don't think anybody could have simplified and made you understand the entire process of how to analyze the entire equity research in such an easy peasy manner over here. So if you haven't bought it already, buy that workshop. It is just for 999 rupees. You will learn so much, and you will be able to, you will save so much of your time, instead of, going around the PP10 con call, not knowing how to connect the dots. It would be much easier. Now coming to the point over here, Asarfi का तो अभी एक problem है, right? Because over here you see everything is too good. Even valuation is very cheap, because if I take the 1 year forward peak valuation, it comes between 18 to 20, and if I take by FY26, that's almost 2 year का forward PE, then it comes even up to 13%. I mean 13 का 1 year forward PE होता है for a guidance of 30%, right? Which is great. High growth, low PE engine, आपका PE का re-rating भी मिलेगा, because that ARPOB and everything is improving, margin will improve, EPS का re-rating भी मिलेगा, PE double होता है, EPS double होता है, 2 into 2 4x. That is there, but there is always a but. Again, I've explained this everything in detail in my Asarfi ka video. Just watch it over there. I'll repeat it here also once again. The biggest setback for Asarfi is, if you look at them, until FY26 they can probably have this growth, because abhi to, they still have to add that 100 bed in cancer hospital. So when that 100 beds get operationalized, this growth will come from there. Naya bed hai, it will get fulfilled, very chota base and everything. But what after FY26? Growth FY26 tak hai, probably they'll grow 50%. They'll probably grow faster than Max, faster than Yatharth, probably faster than both of them combined. They will grow. But until when comes the question? Because in the con call they mentioned ki, like, two negatives are there. One, these people are setting up with whatever the QIP ka money they raised, they are setting up a medical college, okay, which is a bit, it is not a bad thing, but it is a red flag for an investor. Because kya hota hai, when you try to get much more industry, now like for example, you will always trade at a lower valuation, okay? No market will not reward you with a higher valuation, because think about it, you're a hospital business venturing out into a education business, it becomes hard. That is one thing, okay? The other thing over here is, they told that they will target 1000 bed in the next 10 years. अभी 300 बेड है, कैंसर का वो हॉस्पिटल में 100 बेड डालेगा बाय नेक्स्ट ईयर FY26 तक, 400 बेड, ठीक है? नाउ फ्रॉम दिस बेस, नाउ फ्रॉम हियर उनका 300 बेड से, even including this कैंसर का हॉस्पिटल, they will take it to 1000 बेड in the next 10 years. कितना बना आपका बेड का CAGR, नंबर ऑफ बेड्स का CAGR कितना बना? 10% का CAGR. Now you understand the problem, right? After FY26, there is a higher probability that the growth will slow down over here, okay? If they come and they like prepone the capex for them, कि like नहीं हम 10 साल में नहीं 5 साल में करते, it is a good news. But as of now, do you see, that is one red flag. The other thing over here, उन्होंने बोला था कि like we are targeting, I believe, I don't know, I read this in the last year ka con call, I mean last quarter ka con call, where they told that they are targeting around a certain crore of revenue. In FY24 it was 84 crores in revenue. I believe again in the next 10 years they're targeting around again I believe 1000 crore, 1000 crore in revenue and so on. But I remember one thing is, if you take the CAGR of this, it becomes 16% ka CAGR. I remember this much, वो 16% का CAGR engine था. Otherwise I would have jumped my gun on this, and that is one of the reasons, like it was a big red flag for me. These are the two, and I've done it in the video also. So these are the two things. आगे जाके, because the bed addition is so low, right? आगे जाके, this, whereas you see, right, Max का base देखो, 3,500 beds are there for Max Healthcare Institute. But on top of that, क्या हो रहा है? These people are adding more beds on such a huge base. They're adding so many more beds in a very short duration of time. 4 साल में वो बोल रहा है बेड डबल करूंगा. यथार्थ भी बोल रहा है वहाँ पे, we will double our bed capacity by FY28. So Yatharth and Max are having a higher base compared to Asarfi, right? And they're still able to double the bed capacity. So I believe somehow there, if the execution goes right with Max and Yatharth, the sustainability is there much more compared to Asarfi. Asarfi, right? That is there. But having said that, see again, if ROE goes up, obviously all the stakeholders over here will make money. So comparing the race now, if I have to put the race, as of now, as of Q3, it comes up to like Asarfi, Max and Yatharth, right? Now Asarfi ka problem hai yahan pe, you can get a PE ka re-rating can happen, EPS ka expansion also is happening, right? Can happen, and ROE will also improve. Again, the only setback over here is their expansion plan. Max ka pro kya hai? Max at such a huge base, you know, like Max and Yatharth, I'll tell you, okay. If you can compare Max, Yatharth and Asarfi in the jewelry space, you know, you can just draw the line over here. It is similar to Titan, Kalyan and Senko. Okay, like see, think about this. Max over the years has already performed, right? It has performed, it has made money for stakeholders, good corporate governance ka history and everything, and it has also been growing over here. Sab kuch kar hai. Now, why would money flow out of Max and come to Yatharth and come to Asarfi? The only one reason, right? Because the investors should see that Yatharth is the next Max, Asarfi is the next Max. Then is the only time that the money will flow from Max to these two hospitals. Now, if Yatharth has to be the next Max, if Asarfi has to be the next Max, what is the catch over here? They have to grow faster than that of Max, right? Otherwise, क्यों भाई? क्यों तुम्हारे ऊपर कोई भी पैसा डालेगा? Tell me, when that conglomerate, when that big giant is growing faster than you, putting more bed capacity, why would anybody leave that and come over here? So you should be, you know, when you are small, you should be somehow lucrative. Now, in one way or the other, you have to be lucrative. How can you be lucrative? How can Yatharth and Asarfi be lucrative? You have to expand the capacity much more than that of Max because of your lower base, and also you should be able to grow faster than Max. Then only you will be lucrative now for any shareholder to leave that Max and come to Yatharth and for that money to come over here. Otherwise, it is no use, right? So all this while in the last 1 year, from Q1 of FY24 to Q1 of FY25, Yatharth was the next Max. Everybody thought Yatharth was the next Max, and in fact Yatharth was also growing at a very faster rate than Max compared to the entire 1 year. But क्या हुआ? इसका तो अपना ही प्रॉब्लम है, IT का रेट, ये लैंड का केस, ये केस, वो केस, बोल बोल के थक गई हूँ मैं, राइट? एंड ऑब्वियसली यहाँ पे ये तो अपने ही प्रॉब्लम में फंस गए हैं Yatharth. So in spite of that growth rate ना, all of this problem pulled it back. It was never able to do that, right? But अभी क्या हुआ? Along with that, Max is growing at a faster rate, right? That is big negative. So if you look at it, Asarfi का negative क्या है? On the longer run rate, they might not have that capex का bed and all of that. It is very low, 10% का CAGR है bed condition में, right? So obviously very hard for it to compete with Max. Maybe today it is able to do it in terms of growth rate, but आगे जाके I don't think Asarfi, if it continues to grow at this rate in terms of bed capacity and everything, it becomes very hard for them to command the valuation that Max is deserving. Okay. On the other hand, Yatharth का problem अभी क्या हुआ है? They are competing with Max with bed capacity, but इसका growth rate घटा हुआ है, right? Or if the growth rate is not reduced, I think that is not the right word, but Max is growing faster than them. So why would Max come and leave you? Why would anybody leave and come to Yatharth, right? So this is a problem with Yatharth. Max का problem क्या है? Max तो grow कर रहा है, right? आराम से grow कर रहा है, 40% से grow कर रहा है, bed capacity भी क्या है, but इसका यहाँ पे base इतना बड़ा है, right? It becomes, now see, if you've invested in lower level, yes, it can be lucrative for you, but what happens is base इतना बड़ा है यहाँ पे, right? का PE का re-rating मिलना यहाँ पे मुश्किल होता है. EPS, because see, if you're a small company, you can increase from 2,000 crore market cap to 4,000 crore market cap easily. But when you're a 1 lakh crore market cap का company, from 1 lakh crore to उसको 2 lakh crore market cap बनाने में बहुत मुश्किल है, right? It's like an ant can run faster than an elephant. Why? Because of its size. So that same size उनका 1 lakh crore market cap है, to expand it to 2 lakh crore का market cap, उसका size ही उसका बड़ा ही नहीं है. यहाँ पे PE rating मिलना मुश्किल है, right? यहाँ पे EPS expansion मिल सकते हैं, right? Because obviously the company is growing, capex chal rate can reflect in the bottom line. But यहाँ पे Max को और एक प्रॉब्लम भी है कहाँ? Because of all this capex that they are doing, because they are so aggressively expanding, यहाँ पे EPS का expansion मिलना भी बहुत मुश्किल होगा Max में. So now you understand the conundrum. In the race, if you look at it, Asarfi, Max, Yatharth, that is how it is. But having said that, everybody is having their pro, their con, their pro and con for all the three. So it is very difficult, it is a very subjective decision, I believe, at the end of the day, when it comes to whatever you hold or do whatever you want, right? So here, there is no right or wrong at the end of the day. It's such a difficult thing, I'll tell you, very difficult over here, just to plays and tell कि like कौन क्या है. You just can't depend on one parameter alone. As of now, Asarfi is good. Yes, it's leading the race, but until when is the question. The sustainability of growth over here is the biggest question mark for Asarfi. And I don't think with the rate of expansion that they're doing, and since they're venturing out into this education space and everything, that is their priority compared to putting up a new hospital, right? Again, that will again kill their valuation. I mean, I don't think they would be able to get that valuation that Max is deserving. So yeah, that's that about the three hospital. It's a very interesting this Q3 is going to be so interesting for the hospital space, right? Because Yatharth, that was leading the race, now has come to the third position. Asarfi जो इस race में नहीं था, all of a sudden Big Boss का wild card entry है, first position में आ गया. Okay, Max, which was earlier at a leading position, now has come back up in the race and is fighting the race very strongly. Okay, the other two players that you have to watch out for in this space is Kim's and Kowai, because Kim's a lot of a lot of beds are going to be operationalized in Q3 and Q4 of this year, right? So when new beds come, volume growth आएगा, ARPO आएगा वहाँ से, right? New capacity will come. And Kowai also is another hospital which is targeting a 25% का growth rate, but they also can overdo it, like under promise and over deliver वो भी कर सकता है, because उनका भी बहुत सारा capacity जो है it is going to come up. Even they are going to be very aggressive in terms of planning and capacity expansion. The only problem with Kowai is these people don't provide any kind of PPT or con call. You have to look at annual report which is 9 months ago and have to make a decision on that, or make a decision based on the result document. We do not know, like उन्होंने बोला था annual report में कि like ये करेंगे, we will put so and so beds, but you are sitting in Q3 right now, 9 months after that annual report is released. You do not know if this bed is already done or not. So it would be very interesting to see, once Kim's and Kowai ka number comes, how the race will change. Will Asarfi continue to be number 1? Will Max continue to be number 2? Will Yatharth continue to be number 3? Because इसका तो बैंड बज गया यहाँ पे, right? Because ये grow कर रहा है and he's doing everything right. But unfortunately, such a unfortunate company, I'll tell you, such a bad luck to everybody involved in this, because even though they're growing, because they're not growing faster than the other two, they won't make money. I mean, it becomes very hard for here to make money. And on top of that, over here, ये तो अपना ही इतना problem में फंसा हुआ है. See, first of all, they were caught in so much problem, right? That was already a negative. Now इस negativity में और भी ये race में नीचे आ गया. So again, it becomes a huge problem over here for Yatharth. So if Kims and Kowai continue to, if they do more than 30%, then a bit tight for Yatharth. That's how it's going to be. But that's not about the entire hospital hospital race and what's been happening over here. I'll see you again in another video. I think we will do that for the AC space, because Amber ka result aa gaya, con call bhi aa gaya, I caught up with that, EPAC aa gaya. I'm just waiting for PGL. It would be fun after that to cover all the three and see, it's fun over here, right? So and see what happens. So that's that for today's video. See you guys. Have a great day. Bye.